Hello, YouTube. It's Wardy. How we doing? I always feel like when I'm doing these intros, I'm like, yeah, let's say something cool and interesting. So just hello, YouTube, and then I'm like, hello, YouTube, and then I'm like, oh god damn it, I did it again. I'm back. I'm sorry for the late upload on this one. Been a bit of a, it's not been a crazy day, but if you guys have been following me on the stream, you'll probably know that I've moved away from my previous studio a couple of months ago. And then I moved into a home studio now, so I'm actually casting from home, whereas before I actually rented out a place to cast in, because I used to live with my parents, but now I live alone. So today I actually finally moved the rest of my stuff out of the studio, so I've had moving people come and collecting the stuff and the desk, and I've just been trying to sort my house out because obviously it all got dumped here, and it's a little bit of a mess. I'm not going to lie, it absolutely still is. So sorry for this video coming up a little later than we perhaps would have liked today. Usually we try and have them out 10 p.m. CET is actually what we usually go for, but this one's obviously just going up whenever it's finished uploading, whenever that may be. So apologies for that, guys. And well, hello, how you doing? Hope you guys have had a fun day. I'm so glad because I'm getting so many weights off my chest this week, you know, or weights off my shoulders with the getting rid of this and getting rid of those stuff from the studio finally is really nice. And not having to worry about that anymore, not having to pay for it anymore is really awesome. So I'm very excited about that. And yeah, awesome. It's cool. Shall I actually talk about the StarCraft then? Because I know you guys probably think, Woody, you know, you do a good job in these YouTube videos about the Star. You never talk StarCraft. So let's do it. Top right-hand side, our Blue Protoss player here. Give it up for Creator, as he is up against the Red Zerg in the bottom left-hand side. soO. A PvZ best of 3 for us here. And this is another one from the Olimoleague. I'm loving these Olimoleague replay packs. You can definitely check them out yourself at patreon.com/Olimoleague. I think it's as cheap as $2 a month. Gets you access to the replay packs. You will not find a better value for replays, apart from maybe my stream, because I cast a load of good StarCraft too. But honestly, it's a really, really, really amazing value for replays. So I definitely advise you check it out. And it's one of the best ways to get replays in the world of StarCraft 2, I think. So, yeah. As I do see an Adept popping out here. Let's see what happens here. Obviously, with YouTube exclusive cast, though, guys, I'm just going to quickly say, of course, if you're enjoying what you're hearing right now, if you enjoy this series, if you enjoy the video, leave a like, consider subscribing. We just hit 6,000 YouTube subs. Go us! That's awesome, guys. That's really sick. Like, we were at 2,500, 3,000-ish about a month and a half ago, not even. So it's been an incredible month or so. It has slowed down a bit now, with whatever, you know, away from whatever crazy burst we had. I think it was IEM Katowice VODs. Yeah, thank you so much for everything. Good to see so many of you, and good to see you all enjoying the content. We do see an Adept here at the front then from Creator starting to shade on forwards, coming up this ramp. Oh, wanted to go up the ramp, but didn't quite make it. And there's a couple of Lings just going to be hanging out down on the low ground. The Adept from Creator going to be heading back up to the top right-hand side, and the Oracle popping out of the main, popping out of the Stargate in the main as the Phoenix comes over and starting to nibble away at this Overlord as well. So little bits and pieces of damage, nothing all too crazy. I mean, very standard opening from the Protoss player. The Oracle, the Stargate opening PvZ in general is a very popular way to open, and with very, very good reason. The Oracle gives you this extra unit which is so good at defending the third base. The Stargate then gives you a lot of versatile options to go into. Even the Stargate itself, you can do so many different things with it. We see sometimes double Oracle, no Phoenix. Phoenix into Oracle, Oracle into Phoenix. You know, sometimes even just one Oracle into that faster Twilight and Robo facility. So there's so many options here. It gives you a little bit of a chance to deal damage, of course, because that Oracle's very good at harassing workers, especially paired with the Phoenix. It can lift up one of those Queens, for example. And it's also valid on every single map. I don't think there's a map in the map pool where it's like, oh, don't build a Stargate. God, how is that going to work on here? Because it is just that good, because it's that standard, safe, and it just sets you up so nicely. I mean, diving in here, Queen and Sporecrawler will be a bit too much. Oracle nearly bit off a little bit more than it could chew, but it does get out of there alive. Only one drone dead. I'm surprised. This is what this is why the Phoenix usually comes in with the Oracle. If it lifts up the Queen, the Oracle takes nowhere near as much damage to the to the Spore and Queen together, and so you at least get the 2 drones. And obviously the Phoenix isn't doing much else with its energy, although it is going into the main to scout and sees the lair. I don't think he's still finishing up, which is a bit of a shame. You don't have an exact timing on that, but at least you do know it's a faster lair, which well, sets soO up to go in towards this Hydralisk Den. So Hydralisk Den coming down. That Nexus on the way up on the 3rd base, and a couple of Adept shading over to try and protect this, and there is the Oracle who, of course, come in and help out with that as well. As you see, this Phoenix still just having a bit of a wander around, really just picking up any information it can. Sees the Hydra Den, so again, good info there. Obviously, the follow-up from Creator with that Robo in the Twilight facility is in towards the Archon drop. So the 2 Archons already morphing in on the bottom side of the map. We have a bunch of Zerglings from soO just hanging around on the top, seeing what they can do as well, as we see some Immortals being Chrono boosted. So we'll see how that comes into play. We see Charge also building too, but I think it's also very important to note, what is soO doing? Because on 56 drones, soO seems to have stopped and is going into Hydras, and only Hydras. Now, they might just need to deal with this Archon drop, but I get the funky feeling that there might also be a little bit of an ulterior motive here, where you might actually just want to go for a large Lingbane Hydra attack. They've been very popular, these 50 to 60 drone all-ins on 3 bases for Zerg players lately against Protoss. We saw an endless amount of them in the TLMC, which you guys will be seeing on YouTube over the next couple of weeks. The uploads are going up. Make sure you check that out. The tournament was awesome. But yeah, interesting. As we see a few Lings, a few Hydras on the way up. Forge dropping down from Creator. And we do see this Phoenix is currently hunting down this Overseer from soO, and that's taking some damage as well. Another Immortal about to finish up. I mean, again, Chrono boosting these definitely feels like a good decision rather than Chrono boosting upgrades, because you're about to be under a huge attack with this Lingbane Hydra setting up to go. A lot of Lings coming in, a few more Banelings morphing in as well. So getting this ready to move up into the high ground. We do see Overseer going to be chased down and killed off by the Phoenix. And here you go, these Banelings going to be finishing, so this is it, time to attack. Obviously no Bane speed, not even Hydra speed here, just Hydralisk range, and oh my god, catches the Immortal outside of the wall off. That's already an amazing catch us. We do see the Banelings going to catch the Zealots as well. So actually the entire front line of the Protoss army here already taking big hits with the loss of the Immortal too. Extra Zealots warping in, but it feels like the Hydras are already doing way too much. Pylon at the front got broken down. The Zealots will charge in with no Banes to fight them, but there's too many Hydras with Lings streaming in as well. And soO shows us his killer instinct in this PvZ. Man, this guy is a monster at times, I'm not going to lie. He has been very, very scary as of late, and it's very awesome to always see him doing well. And excited to see him do a bit more going into the next few months, and obviously see how he plays at IEM Katowice. We've got game number 2 coming up though, so let's hop straight into that right now and see how this series unfolds, I suppose is the word I was actually looking for, as I just stumbled over myself, and now I've gone on a rant about how I couldn't even pick a word. But guys, we're back in. Okay, we got ourselves a game number 2. And let's have a little bit of a look to see what happens on King's Cove. Bottom right-hand side, our red Protoss player, we got ourselves a Creator. You guys might know Creator as someone who has been around the scene for a very long time. He's, honestly, I feel like doing better than he's done in a very long time as well. He honestly was this player who I think a lot of people always quite regularly overlooked him and said, Creator, like, you know, he's a good filler for the Korean scene, but is he really, like, a serious player? Like, this guy does so well lately. He takes maps off of some of the very best, and he's still very competitive and still plays in a lot of these tournaments. I have to say, he's always a pleasure to have in my events as well, because he's always one of these players who's like, oh yeah, I always want to play. Like, you know, put me down for whenever. And I would love to play in your event, and it's always really great to have that positivity from players as well. As the top left-hand side, our blue Zerg is soO, obviously a lot more accomplished, although mostly in silver decoration, as he is the king of 2nd place. As we set up into a hatch, gas, and pool opening here on King's Cove. Now, if we go, coming from that game 1 new repugnancy into game number 2, it's very important to look at King's Cove and just be like, wow, this is sick. Because this is really like your macro-friendly map, and I'd be very surprised if soO went for a 56 drone all in. Not only is it a larger rush distance from the upper left down to that bottom right hand side, but it is also going to be a rather large you know, it's rather large. I guess it's not rather large anything. It's just a rather large map. It's very good defensively, though, to be able to defend up these ramps, because how on earth is a Zerg meant to, like, push up here and realistically deal damage if there's a Protoss army? Like, okay, the Zerg can ping-pong between here and here. The Protoss can ping-pong on the high ground as well, though. So really, it is hard to push in and end the game early like we saw in New Repugnancy. So expect a very different style of play from soO, I would say. He might go for the all-in once again, and he just says, yeah, this build's good, and you know, I think it works often enough. Even on a map like this one, I can kind of brute force my way up there. But I think it's much more likely we see something like probably even a 4th base being taken on this, you know, low ground down here, or something along those lines. As Creator, well, he's going to open up in the same way as before. I think a Stargate even better on a larger map like this because, well, let's face it, I mean, unless you want to try and end the game fast because it's a larger map and you don't want to play macro, the Stargate just sets you up so well to take that 3rd base nice and easily, get that up and running, and just moving in towards a big macro game. And it being, again, 3 bases is, like, absolutely amazing what you can do with 3 bases here on King's Cove, and how easy you can set them up, and how easily defended they are. As we see this Adept going to wander up the ramp, and a few Lings going to have to go and chase that Adept down. So Adept going to get chased, and it does just cancel its shade for the moment. It's just looking for information. The opening here from the Stargate, once again going to be that Phoenix coming out to hunt down this Overlord. There's another Overlord up here as well. It's kind of odd to have the 2 Overlords in the same direction, so it is possible this Phoenix kills Overlord number 1, and then actually doesn't check this right-hand side for the 2nd Overlord, and probably instead goes down the bottom side of the map and looks for an Overlord over here that's likely or liable to fly into the main base to go and scout. So that's a very typical way of doing this, so we do see the Phoenix going to pick up this kill. Let's see where it goes afterwards. It's probably the most exciting thing on the map for the next couple of moments here. See whoever it is going to end up finding Overlord number 2, and there it is, off down to the bottom. Because again, it is just odd to send the same Overlord, or 2 Overlords in the same direction. There's a 2nd Stargate as well, so we're seeing Creator's playstyle here, going to be double Stargate, probably Phoenix for this 2nd game. Already a Baneling Nest coming down from soO, so just being very cautious this time around. Last game, you might have noticed the Baneling Nest came in a lot later. This time, Baneling Nest pretty quick. It almost feels aggressive, as you do know, I mean, soO does know that it's a Stargate opening, right? So it kind of feels maybe a bit aggressive, because it's like, well, what are you going to use the Baneling Nest for? You know it's not a Twilight Council and a Resonant Enclaves opening. You know it's not a Depths. Maybe he's afraid of some sort of a follow-up with this. But the Baneling Nest really not going to serve him any purpose. I'm not sure what he saw to trigger the fact he made it, you know, to make it earlier than what we saw in the last game. Phoenix does end up finding the Overlord on the right-hand side, so in the end it came back to this, but still it survived a bit longer than expected, so soO doesn't have to then rebuild it for a little while, which is obviously pretty positive as well. A couple drones just moving over to the 3rd base right now, going to get mining over on this hatchery. So, a little bit of mining coming down. We see some extra Lings and an Overlord on the way up. This Phoenix coming through the top side. And there's Oracle as well from Creator, still around the center. Just seeing a few Zerglings running around as well. 3rd Nexus coming up. Another Adept and Zealot Soul just warping on in. We're going to see more Lings and Banes coming up. Melee upgrade, the Lair as well. And we are going to be seeing just all of this getting good to go, ready for the kind of the mid-game, right? I mean, this is going to turn into a Lingbane Hydra style most likely. I still just wonder why the Bane Nest comes down so early. And it's because of this little attack right here, right? He does want to be aggressive. Good lifts on the Phoenix actually helps keep the pylon powered for just a few more moments. As we now see the Lingers running in. Starting to deal damage to quite a few of these probes here. Yeah, it will be cleaned up. There's a couple Lings in the main as well. Phoenix will just use some energy to lift up here. 7 probes, but it's quite the investment out of soO, right? To make that amount of units into morph, but the Banelings especially. I guess one of the big benefits is you do manage to take a lot of the energy off the Phoenix in this regard. Usually the Oracle would be the big thing of cleaning this up, but the Phoenix actually uses quite a lot of lifts, and especially on Lings, obviously they come in very high numbers, so it uses a lot of energy. So it really takes away from what the Phoenix can do next. And it is just a way to utilize that Baneling Nest after we haven't really seen much reason to have it so far in the game. And I'm also pretty sure we won't see much more use of it right now. We'll see a lot of Lings in the next few moments as soO will probably make a couple of attempts on this Nexus, but at the end of the day, there's not really much you're going to do with this many units here, and I think because especially the Lingbane before didn't do much damage to units, it mostly went straight for the probe line. I think it's very limited what you can actually achieve. We'll see a few more Banes morphing in. There's some opportunity as Creator's going to be lifting up some drones, but will lose a Phoenix to the double Spore Crawler defense in the main. Few Lings leading the charge there, not going to have a good time. The Bane's now more than going to go to the right, but the Oracle has found them. I mean, they were seen by the Phoenix before, so that's not too surprising. We'll actually bust through to get access to the natural, but the force field is well positioned, and the Banes and Lings will not do much more. But that said, neither for the Phoenix is just hanging around in that top left-hand side, just chilling out, just not really doing anything at the moment. So they're not exactly having the greatest of times either, as the few Signals also sat down on the low ground, and we see 8 more Hydralisks on the way out from soO. So sign up into that range on the Hydras once again. Does have +1 melee, which is obviously a little bit different to what we saw before. The Phoenix still coming in now and again, picking off a few drones. Only about a 1,000 resources lost difference though, because those Phoenix lost 2 of them. I'm just going to recall back, and these other couple Phoenix can join up again then. And they can start harassing in new directions as soO going up to that forward low ground 4th base. And there's an infestation pit already. Now, the infestation pit obviously opens 2 main options. One of them being the hive tech and going into whatever that may lead into, which a lot of the time could just be Vipers, for example, and so on. I feel like against what's currently up from Crater, though, Swarm Host would really work some wonders. I mean, you look at this army and you're like, you know, there's not really that much to deal with Swarm Host at the moment. I feel like Lingbane has been relatively successful, doing a little bit of damage here and there. The Phoenix haven't done too much either. Maybe we see some Swarm Hosts here. Nope, it's going to be the Hive. Okay, okay. I don't know. Like, I just always feel as though the Swarm Hosts are something you can definitely go into in the PvZ, and we've seen a lot before. I guess one of the big things to look at is how much money does soO have as that infestation pit comes up, and the answer was not enough to build any sort of reasonable number of Swarm Hosts. Against double Stargate Phoenix as well, I suppose Swarm Host is a bit of a weirder choice, right? Because if you start going into the Swarm Hosts against this double Stargate Phoenix, you need to make sure the Swarm Host is always protected, because if the Phoenix fly in and find them unprotected, boom, lift up a Swarm Host, it dies, guaranteed. Lift up another, it dies, guaranteed, right? So, some pretty sick stuff there as we see a couple more Overlords on the way out, +2 melee coming through, Muscular Augments on the way in as the Oracle flies in from the right side, drops the Revelation on the Hatchery and the drones. And now we just see the Phoenix coming up to the top side to hang around with the rest of this as well, as created with some units just hanging around just in front of the 3rd base. We're going to be seeing some extra High Templar coming in as well. Just going to continue morphing this in right now as we do see the Storm on the way up. So he's just morphing in one Archon, keeping the rest of the High Templar for them. Storms, the Phoenix are back, and well, they're back and looking good as they find 5, 6 waves. I still don't. Prayer feels a little bit sloppy to me today. I mean, you look at these. Oh my god. Well, did I just, did I just call that or what? He looks a little bit sloppy. He's losing a few more Phoenix to the Spore Claws than he should be, and then obviously flying back into those Hydras is never going to be a good thing. Another wave, a little bit of a Ling Bane attack through this right side. The force field is good, and the Banes will not do anything. We'll see one of them heading back over to the left, where, well, I mean, a couple of Zards charge in. Worth taking that hit, because otherwise the Bane will one-shot probes at this stage of the game. What I feel is happening here is that soO's applying enough pressure to kind of keep Creator pinned back, to keep Creator away, and soO's just gone straight up into that Hive, into the Creator Spire now. With Corruptors on the way out, Broodlords are going to be a big reality here in the next few minutes, so soO has wasted no time at all transitioning from Lingbane Hydra straight into that Creator Spire Broodlord tech. As you see the Warp Prism into the main, we'll get a good surround on that Queen using the Spore Crawl to help block it. You can see soO unburrows the Spore to try and help out, but it doesn't actually move out the way properly still. And I will just put that Spore a bit further back to deal with the Prism, as obviously the 2 Spores before were just positioned to deal with Phoenix. It's a bit nice to catch anything that comes in from behind them in a line, which at this stage, now the Phoenix are dead, is a little bit more likely. So that's good little something as well. Now, need to remember here that this is not just going to be the Broodlords as the only tech for this game. There's a couple carriers on the way up here as well from Creator, so continuing to Chrono Boost those out. As we do see the Lingbane Hydra coming into the center. Sorry if you guys just heard my phone. For some reason it wasn't silent, so apologies for that. It might have just slipped through. As we do see the Observer though in the center going down. soO's Lingbane Hydra still gathering together. A few extra Broodlords coming in up on the up in the skies. I mean, a couple of carriers initially I feel is brave, because carriers don't really do great in lower numbers nowadays. You really need them to be in like 6, at least 6 carriers to kind of do well. He does go carriers first, and you're not going to get 6 up, that's the thing. Now he's going to start building Tempest to deal with those Broodlords. By the way, did build a 4th base in a bit of a different location than usual, taking that bottom side rather than the center position. And it's a little bit intriguing, as we do have Banes, Hydras, Lings, all of this coming down through the center. We do just have this army is setting up to kind of get going. A couple of Corruptors turning around and picking up this Oracle, so dealing some good damage there. A couple of first storms coming down. Broodlord's already showing some kind of potential to just really mess with things, though, as we see the storms. Apparently, Su's not scared of them. The few Corruptors that are around are flying straight into the fight as well. A couple more storms dropping. Hydra's fighting away, and obviously the carriers, again, not really enough to be that scary. The Interceptors all going down so far, and the Broods are just dealing so much damage to the ground army. And then the Hydras and the Corruptors that are left over are probably going to be enough to get rid of the last few air units. And all of a sudden, these Broods are just going to keep on pressing through. Now, there is a bit of a harassment squad on the top left-hand side. Some Zealots running into the natural. But it feels like the entire Protoss army here has already disappeared as Tempest number 1 goes down. A couple of Zealots and Stalkers warping in. And it looks like though the Broodlords will be cleaned out by these Stalkers. But as the last few Hydras just pick up some extra kills, I mean, that's another sentry that just got picked off. I mean, these Corruptors are still around, and there's actually still just not that much anti-air. And so this carrier will go down too. So again, cleaning up all of the important units here from Creator that were likely to probably have an influence going into another push. I love what soO has done. He just says, okay, well, let's just remax and let's go very quickly. Let's not give you any time to build up. And Creator's going to try and build carriers again. I mean, this is such a brave attempt. Yeah, okay, they only take a minute nowadays, but again, I just don't see those two carriers doing anything at all. First Storm, pretty good on the Zerglings, actually. Pretty well placed. I kind of like the split from soO as well, though. Good response to it. Now here come the Banelings, though, and that's kind of what you probably needed the Storm for. But the High Templar are dead, so these Banes are just going to go rolling on in. Corruptors are Caustic spraying down the Nexus on the left-hand side. Those Banelings connecting on all sorts of probes all over the place. Some Mortal comes in from the right. Those Hydras taking even more damage. The Sentry going down. I mean, this base is going to drop as the Hydras turn back around, getting a Stalker, getting an Immortal. Just going to be seeing those High Templar up on the high ground as well, finishing warping in, but to no avail. I mean, Storms aren't ready, right? And that's what you need those High Templar for at this stage, as that is GG, and soO takes game number 2 of this best of 3. And that's going to wrap it up for today's YouTube cast, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. What I'm going to be doing, if you guys watched the last couple of series, now I'm not going to spoil anything, but these were the last couple of YouTube casts I did were the semi-finals of Olimoleague. I'm going to be casting the finals for Saturday's upload, so make sure you check that out. Should be pretty awesome. I've heard there is some pretty cool games, so obviously soO will feature in that, and I'm not going to tell you guys the other players so that you guys don't get spoiled if you want to go and watch the other series that was uploaded the other day. Next week is going to be IEM Katowice. Now, I am hoping to have still some uploads for you guys when it comes to the YouTube. We might miss a day, though, because I'm going to be a little bit busy. Can't tell you why just yet, though. I'm going to be a little bit busy, so it's very possible I might miss a day, especially because I also probably don't have replays ahead of time just to get ahead. I'm going to see how tomorrow goes, because tomorrow I'm going to do a bunch of recording kind of ahead of time to get these out and maybe set up so I can get them uploaded next week. But just a little warning about that. But after the IEM Katowice, we're going to have the IEM Katowice replay pack, and we're going to have so many games to cast from the IEM Katowice. It's going to be epic. We're going to do so many YouTube uploads. So, again, guys, if you enjoyed the stream, god damn it, I'm in streamer mode. If you enjoyed the video today, don't forget to leave a comment, say what's up, let me know how you guys are doing. Don't forget to like the video as well, and of course, subscribe to the channel. 6,000 subscribers and rising. Let's go for that big 7K, baby. Thank you so much, guys. I'll see you all next time.